too damn long, and I need it, baby. Don't you know I need you, baby? Need that I ain't seen you in a very long time. I'm about to give you what's exactly on my mind. So come on, baby. Hey, I say come on, baby. Kiss me where I like it and bring me what's mine. I need you closer, closer, close enough to feel your hands on my hips. I need you closer, close enough to taste your lips on my lips. I need you closer. Yeah, you can get this sweet love, baby. Break me off a little bit, you can get this one. I need you closer. Do you like it with the laser?
Are we ready? Are we ready? Welcome to another episode of Hashtag I'm Just Saying. I'm yours truly, MemeMichelle. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I want you to get involved today in the comment section. I want you to leave your questions, your comments, your views, anything that's on your mind or on your heart, leave it in the comment section. Also, if you know somebody, that this topic will help, put their name in the comment section so they can join in. And when the show is over, please, please, please don't forget to share. That's all I'm asking. Don't forget to share. So today, my guest panel is running a little late. Why you looking like my mama looking all sleepy? My guest panel is running late. They said that the traffic is really, really bad. So we have Tanya. Hey, Tanya. And then we have Bruce, and I'm gonna apologize to Bruce. I spelled his name wrong, and it wasn't intentional. The S was next to the D, and my finger slipped on the iPhone and hit the D. When did it hit the D? He said, I don't have a D in my name, so I immediately fixed that. Mm-hmm. And y'all know this is Rhonda Lee Cooper, aka my mom. And then we also have Mr. Vince that's on the way. They were in traffic, so we're gonna get started. Today's topic, people, is walking in faith, living, not existing, a road to a healthier lifestyle. And the people that I picked to be on my panel today, they're my living, walking, breathing heroes. We'll get to that later, but before we get to the topic, we'll give them a little time. We're going to talk about this drink I made. Ooh, Taste-O Vision is in the building. Okay, so we've had 20 grand before, right? This time we have 20 grand apple. It's a cognac vodka blend with the raspberry cranberry. With the raspberry cranberry. Raspberry. And man, oh man, Chevy's, this is amazing. And my other drinkers are not here. Well, my camera lady got a little sip. And if we don't have nobody else, then I might as well fill up her Yeti, because I can take this home. So before we get started, since my panel is not here yet, I want to talk about that Colin Kaepernick. Congratulations for being the face of Nike. I thought that was the most beautiful thing. Yay! Nike don't care about nothing. Let me say, Nike don't care about nothing but the dollar, honey. Nike knows. Oh, excuse me, my lashes sticking together. Let's go. Boom. They don't care. And all the faces look like us. All the faces, not just Colin Kaepernick. All the faces. And if you're burning your Nikes or cutting your socks, it really doesn't matter because they're already paid for. That's not a protest. That's buffoonery. And let me explain something else to you. They don't care about them sneakers you burning up. They don't care about them Nikes. Guess why? Because them the grass cutting Nikes, them the Ross Nikes, them the TJ Maxx Nikes, them the Nikes, the kind of like buddy Nikes that you ain't too sure they might be Nikes, they might be Mikes. That's what those Nikes are. They're not Huaraches, they're not Jordans, they're not none of those types of Nikes. So Nike really don't care.
I drink to them.
They just got cranberry juice because they don't partake. So y'all want to get started? We're going to get started before the people come in. I'm going to tell y'all a little trick. These cards don't have nothing on them. I'm a hairstylist. The cards are in the book. I mean, the questions are in the book. But I'm a hairstylist, and I was really, really busy today. So we're just going to act like we're going to keep the, the format going. So look at these. Oh, let me read my questions. Just roll with it. So how many of you, and when the rest of the panel gets here, I'll come back to these questions. So I think it's very important. The reason I named this topic, walking in faith, not in fear, living not existing is because each person at this table has suffered from something traumatic. My mom has had cancer. Tanya, she has had cancer. Bruce, you have diabetes. Well, so let me just ask before we get started. How many people at this table suffer from high blood pressure? Even the camera lady. Do you think that the high blood pressure was an effect to the other things that happened to your body?
Well, that's what knocked my kidneys out.
That was my question. That's what I wanted to ask. So what are the signs of high blood pressure? Y'all can each tell me.
Well, signs is, it's a silent killer, like they say, because sometimes it's not symptomatic.
Okay.
And you know, you think you
Oh, they say they can't hear you.
you think you have a light headache, or you just think you may be a little dizzy because it's hot and humid in Houston, but it could be your pressure up. And you think your eyes bad because you need to change your prescription, but it may be pressure. Your pressure may be high, and what we have to remember, the most important thing, a lot of diseases we have, a lot of them are inherited.
Yeah, that was one of my questions. Did you think it was inherited? Come on in, Mr. Vince and Miss Carla. Come on, Miss Carla, come in.
We're coming.
We're sorry, it was a
Mr. Vince, that's your chair. When Miss Carla come in, just grab it and put it right here.
Come on in, Miss Carla. Come sit over there.
You sit right there, Miss Carla. And then that's Mr. Vince chair. Sidebar, we're getting it together. That's all right, you good, Miss Carla. Slide on in that thing.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Alrighty.
So the question we just asked, Mr. Vince, the topic today is walking in faith, not in fear, living not existing, a road to a healthier lifestyle. And the question I asked was, how many people at this table have high blood pressure?
Well, I don't have high blood pressure.
Okay. How many people at this table have diabetes? I try not to use the word suffer.
Yes.
Yeah, you live with
I
it.
do got it,
I
yeah.
had it.
Okay. And then the next question I asked, do you think that those things led to other things?
Oh, most definitely.
Like, do you think that your diabetes led to your heart disease?
Exactly.
What were the signs of your heart disease? How did you know something was wrong?
I just went on my annual checkup, and
Okay.
they did the test, and that's how I found out I had some situations going on.
So you were feeling good? You were still, doing your la-di-da thing?
I had some good days.
I had some bad days.
Yeah. But most of it was nothing painful. Nothing
Okay.
painful.
Now, you had to have heart surgery. Can you explain to the people what type of surgery you had? Take care of yourself, people.
Yeah, double bypass.
Woo!
Wow.
Yeah.
Yes, it
They tried them stents first. That ain't working. They said, this ain't working. This stent.
Yeah,
I heard
I
him
remember that.
talking. Yeah, I was like, I was like, I'm awake. I'm awake. Y'all need to finish this up.
Lord have
Yeah.
mercy.
Yeah.
So, Bruce,
Yes.
what were the signs? How did you know something was wrong with your kidneys?
The day I couldn't pee.
Okay then. Okay, that was
That's
good.
true.
That was good.
Here you go,
Yeah.
Mr. Vince. Pour you some.
And
Where's
start
this?
It's a
swelling.
grand cran.
I got a
My body started swelling.
Your body starts
My
swelling?
body started swelling. I started retaining everything I drank. And I didn't know what was wrong, but I was too scared to go to the doctor.
No, you can't be scared to go to the doctor.
And the thing that made me go to the doctor, my last straw was I had swollen up so much that I actually was at my godsister's house, sitting in the chair, couldn't hardly breathe, just swollen fluid. I reached down and touched my leg because I was wondering why my pants leg was sticking to my leg. And I reached down and touched my leg and found out that there was fluid
Oh
seeping
my
out of my
God.
pores.
Yeah.
My hand was wet because the fluid didn't have nowhere to go.
Oh my
And immediately I
God.
went to the ER that same day, and they said your kidneys is gone. You need to start dialysis. I say what? And I said I'm not gonna do that. Something must be wrong. I told my sister, just let me die. And I said, because my mother was a kidney patient.
Okay.
And I said, I didn't want to experience what she experienced in the late 80s.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
It's different now, but I didn't want to go through that.
Okay.
And so I told my sister, let me die. My sister told me, all that preaching and all that spiritual stuff you talk about with everybody else, and you can just sit up there and tell me you want to die. She said, baby, I encourage you, but you shall live and not die.
Come on now.
Yes.
Come on now. And let me tell y'all something about Bruce. He was once our choir director. That's when choir rehearsal was on Wednesday.
Right, probably. So,
Well, it was on Monday and Tuesday, and then it went to Wednesday. We had a lot of days we had choir rehearsal. But sometimes choir rehearsal would be the same day he had dialysis, and nobody knew. He came right in there. He was as energetic as he possibly could be. He didn't walk around like, oh, well, it's me, my kidney. You would never really know, and that's how you survive things. You have to press. You have to press it. You have to get people around you that when you are having that bad day, they're going to encourage you. Because I never miss a day. Bruce, how you feeling today?
right.
Because I don't know what Bruce goes through because of his kidneys. And you number like what on the list?
I was on the top of the list until other stuff started climbing.
Okay.
I have other issues which it didn't upset me from not being on the list because I also inherited heart disease
Okay.
from my father, and you can't have no transplants, nothing until your ticker is right.
Got you.
And so the ticker, they working on the ticker, but while they working on the heart, I'm still content
Amen.
with everything.
Yes, indeed. So let me ask you guys a question. How did you know, what were the signs of diabetes? How did you know? Like, people walk around and, you need to go to the doctor because I'm bad with that myself. So how did you know something wasn't right and you had diabetes? And then tell me about the change that you had to do in your diet to repair that, to help repair that. Come on, Mr. Vince, you go first.
Okay, I know I went to, again, I'm avid going to the doctor. I took my yearly,
I wonder who make you do that.
No, well, I had good insurance back then. I was going on my own. I had good insurance. They were get that $5 copay, baby. I'm going to check up on me because I see too many of them fall by the way behind that.
Yes, indeed.
Okay, so I did a blood test and, I didn't feel anything. And then as they go on, they keep doing the blood test. Like you keep getting worse no matter what you do. So, but you can get better, But you change your diet up when you can a little bit. But I got a couple of vices I need to change. But for the most part,
That's all right though.
Halfway, But I had one doctor tell me, he was talking about the whole thing with the diabetes and the diet and the lifestyle. I said, hey man, he said, whoa, I already know what you're gonna say.
Because you look amazing.
I said, what you gonna say? He said, well, there's a thing when you have to have a balance. How are you gonna enjoy your life as opposed to the quantity of life? So you have to make a choice. Okay, well, we have to have an even balance here somewhere, Doc. So, so I got some pills to take care of that.
All right. So do
check that out.
you take pills or the shot?
I take pills. If I take a shot, I'm going to be retired.
You take pills or shot?
Neither.
Come on now, talk about that.
Neither. When I've been a diabetic, probably when I was diagnosed, probably when I was, I would say 21.
Okay. Oh, that's a long time.
I'm 53.
I was gonna say you 25. That's a long time.
And when I was first diagnosed, my daddy was a diabetic.
Okay.
And I used to take insulin and the pill. But somehow, when I acquired kidney disease, my sugar regulated.
That's right.
I wonder. Can you explain
What happened
why?
to my mother?
'Cause I want to know why.
I'm not on. My body begins to make insulin and stuff normal.
Wow.
All my sugar levels are normal.
Is that Tanya?
Uh-oh.
She's sneaking on
Come on
in.
in, Tanya. Well, we might.
Oh yes.
All right.
Okay.
So, Tanya, we're gonna rewind the tape a little bit since you're here. Do you have high blood pressure?
Yes, since the medicines.
Oh, okay, all right. But diabetes, no.
No.
Okay, so we'll talk about that in a minute.
Okay.
So you were saying that since your kidneys failed, your diabetes, your insulin leveled out.
My diabetes has regulated.
Amen.
And it's checked off too. And my numbers are always normal.
Amen.
Thank you, Jesus.
Now,
Yes.
these two right here, oh my God. Whew, okay. Mommy and Tanya have both had cancer. Mommy had breast cancer, and Tanya had leukemia.
Yes.
We're going to start with you, Tanya. What was the signs? How did you find out you had leukemia? I was there, but I'm going to let you tell your story.
Okay. How I found out I had leukemia was one day I was extremely tired. It's a tired that you've never felt before, to the point where I was like, could barely put one step in front of the other. But previous, I should have saw some of the signs, because I was an active walker.
Yeah.
But then it became hard for me to walk, and I would have this persistent cough. After I would do a walk, I would cough, and it was like I could not catch my breath. But then when I went to the emergency room or urgent care, they told me, oh, you probably still have an upper respiratory. So I went laid home, but I could never keep food down. So then it was like, okay, I had a normal doctor appointment. So I went to my normal doctor's appointment, and she was like, I don't see anything wrong with you. And I was telling her, no, I know something's wrong with me because I've never felt this way.
Okay.
I know my body enough to know this is abnormal for me.
Okay.
So then she said, what do you want me to do? I said, do whatever you have to do.
Mm-hmm.
And so she set me up to go to the emergency room at St. Luke's downtown. Mama had to drive me there. We both didn't really know how to get there, but we got there, and then going through their process and their blood work, they discovered that my white blood cells were 650,000, which is way above what they should be, even if you had an infection. And so then they came back, and they were in between trying to determine which type of leukemia I had, because I was borderline between acute and chronic.
Mm-hmm.
But they came in that night and said, you have leukemia. My sister said, wait a minute, what you say? That's for children. And they go, no.
Because that's the misperception that we have, that because all the commercials, whenever they have St. Jude's, is children who suffer from leukemia, but they never talk about adults who have leukemia.
Yes, and a lot of older people get leukemia in later life.
Okay.
And that's what I ended up getting, because they kept asking me, have you been around any radiation? Have you ever been around this and that? And I was like, no. You know, so they.
So how do you think it was lying dormant? Do you think that it's just you always had it, or you? What do you think?
I don't know, but it goes back to. I don't know how. I said, be careful what you ask God for. You know, because I did ask Him
For some weight loss.
to be able to trust Him.
Come on now.
I said, help me to be able to trust you, Lord. And I remember, I don't know if it was maybe a year prior or so. It might have been 6 to 9 months. I'm not sure when. I was laying in my bed, and I remember it felt like somebody bumped against the bed. And so I thought it was Mama. So I was like, Mama. And I saw a figure, a shadow. So I assumed Mama. And so when I got up that morning, I said, Mama, did you come in my room? And she said, no, I ain't been in your room. And I was like, you sure you didn't come in my room? Because it was a distinct feeling of somebody there.
Touch, movement.
And then my sister, my baby sister, had already talked to my mom and said, Tanya, finna go through something. And I was like, what do you mean? She was like, but it's going to be okay, but she's going to go through something. And so then, you know, if I had paid attention to the signs of my body, as my coworkers always say, you don't never go to the doctor. I go, but I don't feel like there's anything wrong with me, and I go for my normal yearlies.
Okay. So what they're saying is go get a checkup.
Yes.
Guilty.
Yes.
Because I remember it was one Sunday morning, because let me just say, everybody in this room, we're church family. We all go to the church without walls. And music director, organ player, sings in the baritone tenor section, sings in soprano section with me. sings in the alto section, sitting over here. My mama, she fly by night, but she belongs to the church without walls. And let me explain. When you have a family that can check on you, or they can look at you and see something's not right, because the date Tanya's talking about, she kept, first of all, okay, we good for pranking and cracking jokes. So in choir rehearsal that Thursday, she kept falling asleep in the choir stand, and we were filming her and marking her, because I'm like, she must have had a rough day. And but Sunday when we came to church, she came up missing. And we were like, where's Tanya? And Tanya had went in a room and went to sleep, and nobody could find her. She couldn't even sing with us that day. And that was the Sunday before she found out she was diagnosed with leukemia. So listen to your body. And if one of your friends point out, hey man, you don't look too good, or what's going on, you know, don't get offended by it, because they love you and they care. Right. Any questions, Kim? Anybody got? Okay. Yeah. So, Mommy, you 2-time cancer survivor. Do you think, question, do you think the cancer you guys had, well, I already asked you, do you think that it was inherited, it was always there, or do you think it was environmental? Because sometimes I believe it could be in our food, it's in the air, because you lived in Clear Lake for a long time, but you did say when you were a teenager, you used to have mass in your breast a few times.
Well, my first lump in my breast I found when I was 16.
Okay.
So, you know, I'm a kid, and I went to the hospital, and they removed it. It was benign. Then I had one again when I was 21. Had another one when I was in my 30s. Had another one when I was in my 40s, but they were all benign.
Okay. And
so when I turned 50, you know, I was like, oh, do I have to do this again? You know, those mammograms used to just wear me out. And so I went and had a mammogram done, and they told me, well, we see something really small, but it's no big deal, you know, because I had consistently had these benign tumors. And then possibly 6 months later, all of a sudden I felt something. So I went to by that time I wasn't working in the hospital system anymore, so I went to the Rose. And I had a mammogram done through them.
It's all right, baby.
And those people say, can you have a seat out there, ma'am? And I was thinking to myself, why am I hanging around here? You know, I got things to do. And then they said, don't take your stuff off, you know. We're going to do an ultrasound.
Ooh.
So I said, okay. So you know me. I'm nosy.
And she's a nurse.
So when they hooked me up and they let me stay in there, you know, kind of turn, and I started looking at the screen. I said, what the heck is that thing? And it was something like oval, like this, and it had tentacles coming off of it.
Oh no.
And I said, that's not good. Because that looked like that's feeding off of something. And so I think what it was attaching itself to blood vessels, and it was growing. So then they had the doctor come in, bless his heart. I don't know where they got that doctor from, because the look on his face was priceless. Like, oh my God, I got to tell her that she's got breast cancer. And I was looking at him and I was saying, poor baby. You know, I was feeling sorry for him. You know. But anyway, long story short, they eventually did a biopsy and they told me I had breast cancer.
What stage cancer did you have?
At that particular time, I had stage 2.
What stage did you have?
I was already at 650,000. That was, it was life or death for me at that point.
Okay.
So, you know, the first time I had it, I really didn't consciously
wrap your mind around it.
hey, they told me to do this, do this, do this, and I did it. And I never once felt like, well, this is something that's going to take me away from here.
Right.
You know, and so
It was the second time.
my prayer was, I just want to lead a normal life.
Okay.
Just let me do what I always do. So the first time I did, I went to work every day. You know, the chemo was set up on Wednesdays. I had chemo on Wednesday. I took Thursday off, and I was back to work on Friday.
Okay.
Every week.
Yeah.
Now, part of that was I was staying with her, and so she would come. I would drive myself to MD Anderson. She would get dropped off. She would be there with me while I had the chemo, and then she would put me in a wheelchair and drive. We would drive home, and then I would go to bed. So, you know, it was things that people didn't realize were happening. But again, I didn't really feel like, you know, I was sick.
Felt like he was in a dream.
Yeah, it was kind of unreal.
Yeah.
So, then I said, okay, I'm good, you know. They did surgery. They did chemo, they did surgery, and then they did radiation. Out of all of those, the radiation was the worst.
Okay, that was my question. What was the difference in the treatments that you got? What was the difference in the treatments that you received?
Well, they started me off on a test chemo. Well, I did chemo every day
Okay, okay,
for 10 days straight.
okay.
Mhm.
I did chemo 10 days straight because they were trying to find a less invasive form of chemo
Mm-hmm.
to see if you can do it every day.
Okay.
And then they were like, you're doing pretty good off of this one, you know. So I did the first 10 days treatment of that, as they were looking for me a bone marrow transplant recipient.
Mm-hmm.
And so did that. What did they do? Then they said you did that really well, and the chemo, the Philadelphia chromosome has shrunk, so they weren't finding as many.
Mm-hmm.
So they were like, well, if we can keep getting you down, but we need to find you a donor quick.
Sidebar. What is a Philadelphia? For the people who don't know, what is a Philadelphia chromosome? Because that sounds like a serious thing.
I'm trying to think of a way to say how to. It is a chromosome where you have, I think you have 23 chromosomes in your body.
Right.
And mine's in the 9th and the 21st spot, switch spots.
Okay.
Oh.
I think it's the 9th and the 21st. Don't quote me on that, y'all. But 2 of my chromosomes switch spots.
Okay.
And when they switch spots, that's when they're able to say, okay, you have leukemia.
Okay.
Because then what it does is, you know, your cells are your instructions to your body.
Okay.
With those switched in my DNA, they were giving the wrong instructions.
Okay. Okay.
And so that's why it was creating a ton of white cells,
Mm-hmm.
no red, because it didn't know that it was supposed to create red blood cells. It was just creating white,
Okay.
white. And white, over time, they will clog all of your organs.
Okay. Okay.
So, and they're supposed to, in normal body cells, your chromosomes are told when to die off.
Gotcha.
And then another one comes in.
Gotcha.
But mine wasn't dying. They weren't dying off.
It was
They
just
were just
everywhere.
They were just multiplying, and then it was just like bloop, 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 bloop. So their fear of, I was already at 650, of clogging my kidneys, and then starting to go and clog everything else. So it was like, oh, that's why I was in intensive care for so long, because they were trying to really kill those. But when I did the chemo, it was able to get them down. So technically, I was surviving only on transplants.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
because I had no red blood cells in my body.
So that's
Or
why-
transfusions, yes.
Okay.
So I lived off of transfusions, so that's why I particularly stayed at MD Anderson. It was my job.
Yeah.
I had to come every day for them to pull blood to go, ooh, she's at 10. We need to give her a transfusion. So I lived on other people's blood until I could get my own.
So go donate blood.
Yes.
Really donate blood because she needed a lot of blood.
Yeah.
If you can, I'm severely anemic. I can't. But if you're able to give, please give. Now, you go ahead. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, and if you give blood, the person in your family gets blood free.
Oh, I didn't
Yeah.
know that.
So when you go and donate, if somebody gets sick in your family, then they'll look that up, and then
Mm.
there you
Yeah.
go.
And I
Boom.
think Tracy started it because
Yes,
Mhm.
Tracy
it's like,
gives a
here we
lot.
go, and so now they're like, it's like a, hey, can you give some blood?
Yeah, they be calling Tracy up. So my question to you guys is, with everything, because dealing with cancer, living with cancer is not easy. Dealing with diabetes is not easy. Dealing with heart disease is not easy. And people walk around and they complain that they tired, that I don't want to do this today. Where do you guys draw your strength from to deal and move and fight the things that you had to deal with?
Well, first of all, you have to have faith. And you have to have a positive state of mind.
True.
When I recognized that I had cancer, the first thing I thought about was, well, I got my 2 daughters. I'm definitely not leaving them here by themselves.
Don't leave me to my own devices.
And look, I gotta pay bills, so I need to go to work. So all of this was in my head, and here's another thing I can't stress enough. When you're ill, please do not try to be your own doctor or your own nurse.
That's true.
I've been in the medical field for a long time. And the first thing I did was allow the people to do their job.
Okay.
That's right.
When they give you information, you take that information, you read that information. It was so many things that I learned about the treatment. And here's another thing. Medication will jack you up worse than the disease.
That's that is on.
Yes.
But you beat me to it.
Yes.
Take it from me and
Yes.
Tony.
Take it.
That
sure can.
chemotherapy,
It saved your life, but okay. So tell me, the chemotherapy saved your life,
yes.
but what did it destroy?
Oh my God.
And this is why I say they are survivors and they have faith, because they deal with ailments that they didn't have to deal with before. So tell me some of the things, and not to discourage you if,
Oh, no,
if
no, no.
something's going on.
Because
it's just to let
I'd
you
rather
know.
have that
Yeah.
than
Then
not
not be here. Okay. So tell me, you need some.
I'm good, thank you.
Okay. You need anything? Write anything? Okay. So, what did it destroy?
My chemotherapy, because I don't know about yours,
Yeah.
but my chemotherapy, the first time I had cancer, they put me on a clinical trial.
Mhm.
Thank God I had quit smoking some years back. Because as it progressed, I started to have difficulty breathing. And
Yeah.
they think I drove myself to the emergency room. I just got off from work. I said, I can't do this no more. So I drove myself to the emergency room. And so they said, what's going on? I said, I can't breathe.
Mm.
So I was sitting there and, they drew blood and they brought all these doctors in to look. They wasn't there. I was just sitting there by myself. And that was one thing that happened. And this is what they told me. Well, you're almost finished with the clinical trial. So if just hang on for a minute, you'll be done. Well, thanks a lot.
Well, yeah.
Okay, if you say so, that's what I did. Then another thing is that chemo, the chemo I had lifted up my nails. Yours too?
Yeah.
Okay, so what it does is it lifts your nails up off the beds, and you get this drainage that comes out, and
That's why you see some people wear gloves.
you see that I had band-aids around my I just took band-aids and just wrapped them around to press the nails back down. And you have it on your hands and you have it on your feet. So the first time it worked. But the second time that didn't work so well. And I ended up with a lot of issues with my feet. I could manage my hands, but I couldn't manage my feet. So the toenails did all kinds of strange things, and I had 2 or 3 nails growing at the same time. And I felt like I was in one of those horror movies where you look down and you see this kind of stuff. But
I can't with her.
look, I was just a terrible patient, I believe, because we go to Vegas every year, and I wanted to go to Vegas so bad. So that second time, I told my doctor, I asked him, I said, well, can I go to Las Vegas with my family? And he thought I was joking, so he told me yes. And I went to Vegas and I almost died.
My God.
I didn't even know. I was having some kind of,
She was gonna go out, living her best life. She ain't got time for you, Nichols. She was living her best life.
I was having these, I really did. I had this temperature that I didn't know. Well, I knew I had a temperature, but I didn't know it was that bad. And Snooki was wheeling me in a wheelchair.
She don't want the stories now. We got to go through that.
But anyway, the bottom line is you got to do what they tell you to do.
Where do you get your faith from? Listen, Vince. What everything you deal with your heart and with your diabetes, because you drive trucks, so you have to be in the best shape of your life, because you have to be alert at all times.
Right.
So how do you deal with that? What type of diet do you do? What I know where some of your strength come from. I'm looking at her, but where do you get your faith from? Where do you get your survive? Okay, the question I guess I'm trying to ask is: a lot of people have heart disease. A lot of people have kidney disease. A lot of people have diabetes, and they don't do nothing that they supposed to do. They just think they living their best life and they're gonna go out with a bang. What makes you want to be a better you?
Oh, I thought I was on that other page with the best life. I thought I was on that page. But no, I live my faith. My faith, I live in the hands of God at all times. I've always believed that. I said, He ain't want me to go down this road for nothing, so I'm gonna be a little better at it. I'm gonna do a little better. And I got my Precious there. I said I can't believe it.
Come on, Precious.
I got my Precious.
Come on, Precious. Precious look good too. She clean over there. She got her jeans on, hair laid. She got a great stylist.
Yeah, she do. So. But no, life is good though. You have to adjust your diet, and then my diet. Diets are pretty tricky. Especially when I'm out on the road a lot. So you got to work. I try to eat them salads more than I want to.
Can you give? There's a lady in my life that I love so dearly. How to adjust her diet?
Oh, you just gotta eat less of what you was eating. That's all that is. You gotta eat less. That's all that is.
Just half.
Actually, if you cut it back, yeah. The less you eat, the better off you'll be. That's the whole truth. Watch your sugars. I like to give me a donut in a minute. I shop it on the I just donut brothers.
We are not
Or any comments
Comments was from Michelle Cooper. She said, I know my doctors are tired of seeing me, and I'm tired of seeing them.
Amen.
She goes.
Yeah, you have to.
Yeah.
You have to.
Yeah, oh yeah, because I ask my doctor every time I see him, when am I gonna get to one time a year?
you ain't probably never down. So in those moments where you wanted to quit and give up, because I know you had them in your quiet time, what did you do to press through that?
Well, I can tell you.
Come on, B.
Right, I've been living with kidney disease for 12 years.
Okay.
Been on dialysis lately, last month. And I heard a friend of mine who was dealing with some diseases a long time ago testify in church.
Mm-hmm.
And which, this is something I live by. She said, Dr. Betty Ransom Nelson, she said, if sickness going to dwell in my body, it has to go to church.
Oh, baby! Oh my God! Oh Lord!
That's a philosophy. Let me tell you. There have been, and you know, and this is why I feel better like I do today.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's a lot of time I press my way
Yeah.
just to get to church. And every time I press my way to get to church,
It's something for you.
I've always felt better.
Mm-hmm.
And I always felt better. And there have been times that I've been so sick on a Sunday
Mm-hmm.
to prep to get to church. I would get up at 3 o'clock in the morning and start getting dressed because it would tire me out so. And get to church early because I didn't want to confront nobody. I didn't want nobody to talk to me before I can tell them how bad I felt.
Right.
But I got there enough time, and then as soon as church started,
It's
before
just
church was over,
something.
God have always met me at His place.
Mm.
Amen.
Woo!
Every
Oh,
time.
you know, we'll get some shouting up in here,
Yeah.
boy.
And I want to
Yes.
give a comment, but I don't
You
think
can.
it's
You
what I'm
can.
doing. But Bruce told that story at church, and the day that Bruce told that story, I felt really bad. I was having a really bad day. I was so sick, and I was hurting so bad. And Bruce, you told that story at church, and I can't tell you how much that encouraged me to press my way to get through the rest of the service.
Amen.
And I'm a firm believer that every time I get to my very lowest to feel so bad about myself, God puts somebody in front of me to let me know that it's going to be okay.
It's
and I
gonna
just
be
want
alright.
to thank you for sharing that.
Amen. Because look, let me say, you might think you have it bad, right?
Mhm.
But you don't know what your neighbor is dealing with. So always extend a hand of courtesy and kindness, because you don't know what, first of all, you don't know what people are going through to get to church. You don't know what, like this man said he had to get up at 3 o'clock just to get there at 8. So if you think you're having a bad day, if you think you don't feel well, just think of this young lady. She woke up one day and then everything was just everywhere. She couldn't stay awake. She was sick. I remember calling Tracy, how's Tanya doing? Oh, we at MD Anderson. And I'm like, what? And I told my client, I'm sorry, I have to go. I just went to MD Anderson. And that was the first time, because we were young. Because how many years ago? 2 years ago? 3 years ago. So she's 3 years in. But my mom got cancer, and I knew a lot of people that had cancer, and I cried when my mom got it, but I knew she was going to survive because she's a fighter.
Right.
So that second time, it really broke me down. But when Tanya got it was a reality check for me,
Right.
because we're close in age. And how could somebody so young who could be so vibrant? We were just talking about going to do iFly.
Yeah.
Because we was like, we're going to lose some weight so we can go do iFly. Because there's a weight limit at iFly. And we wanted to make sure we was under that weight limit. We knew we were good. But we wanted to make sure we were under that weight limit so we could fly. And we still got to go, Tanya.
Yeah.
Because now you're 3 years in.
That's
and that
right.
should be what we
That's
do
right.
to celebrate your remission. Go to iFly. So I'm going to have to get my weight back down one more time so we can fly. But just, you never know what somebody's going through. So, you know, and if you think you're going through something really bad, or, you know, if you're afraid, if you think you have breast cancer, if you think you have heart disease, if you think you have kidney failure or diabetes, talk to somebody about it. And they're going to encourage you, go to the doctor, get checked out. Because especially in our community, I don't know about anybody else, but there are things that were passed down from generation to generation from slavery days. I'm just going to keep it real because we had to eat the scraps. And so there are things that are embedded in our DNA that we have to fight just because. Now, I remember my grandmother, she ate pork chops. She ate neck bones. She ate collard greens. She ate candy and cornbread every day. My grandmother had lupus. I really want my cousin and my aunt. I want to do a show with them because they are the true face of lupus. And sometimes they have really bad days, but if you looked at them, just straight looked at them, you would not know. But lupus is a hard disease to deal with. So I say all that to say, there are things that are in our food now that wasn't once in our food.
Right.
Chickens are adults within a week's time. And so that's why you end up getting a lot of things that you get. So take care of yourself the best that you can. And if you see something going on with your body, take care of it. Because God only gave you one life to live. It's only one. And once you, and love the people who are with you. Because in a blink of an eye, she didn't have to be sitting here with me today in her orange #I'm just saying t-shirt. My mom didn't have to be here. I watched her get chemo. Mr. Vince didn't have to be here. I remember trying to FaceTime him to make sure he was okay. Bruce don't have to be here. But they fight and they press their way through. So my last question of the day is, what advice would you give someone who's dealing with the issues that you deal with, and how can you make them understand that it doesn't have to be a death sentence, that you can beat this. You can beat this. We'll go this way. It's called a round table. We'll go this way and we'll work your way on down.
It is all in your attitude. So yes, you feel the pains and the aches, and but if you can always smile and see the brighter side, it will make a difference. And still get your checkups that you need to get checked up on. If you know that you have to make a lifestyle change, don't procrastinate.
Come on now. Like we all do.
And just make those changes. And you don't have to do it all in one time, just a gradual change. If you say get out there and do 30 minutes of walking, walk your 30 minutes or your 15 minutes and then build up to your 30 minutes. And then you'll build up, longer. I said, but it is about just keeping your attitude, But you're going to be down. You're going to have those days. Don't beat yourself up. But, think about it and say, you know what, I don't have to be here. But he gave me another day.
Amen.
So he gave me really another minute, another second,
Come
another
on.
hour.
Woo, come on now.
And then another day.
Yes.
So you just have to keep that attitude and keep people around you that are positive.
Yes.
You don't want to be around people who have that negative thought of, girl, I wouldn't go. No, I'm going to go.
Yeah.
Just smile, because some people ain't gonna smile at you.
Yeah.
You don't have to smile your own self.
Amen.
And keep a bright, bright spot or star on yourself.
Amen.
Keep going.
What about you, Bruce?
Well, my best advice to give is keep positive people around you, of course. But don't let, well, whoever may be dealing with not having medical insurance, don't let that deter you from going to the doctor.
Okay.
Because,
So what if for someone who does not have health insurance, what steps can they take without going broke?
Well, I can tell you what's required in the hospitals in the state system, Texas.
Okay.
A hospital cannot turn you down
That's right.
for treatment. A hospital have everything. They have to do charity. They have to donate time and services. That's what keep their funding.
All right.
Now, when you don't have any medical insurance and you got something going on in your body and you know what's going on, go to the doctor, but go to the doctor with faith.
All right.
Don't go to the doctor worrying about the aftermath of those bills. Go that you're going to find out what's wrong with you, get treatment for what's wrong with you, and then let God show you that he can take care of you.
Amen.
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 Woo, shut up in here. Mama, what advice would you give somebody dealing with breast cancer?
As a
Or
whole,
high blood pressure? Take your medicine on time, right?
as a whole, I tell each of my patients that, regardless of what disease you have, you need to hold on to your family. There's so many people out there that have let go of their sisters and brothers and mothers and fathers, and you know, and when things happen, well, I don't want to talk to her or I don't want to talk to him. Stop it. Make a relationship with your family, because these are the people that, believe it or not, are going to be the rocks you need to hold on to.
Yes, sir.
You know, you can be as confident as you want to, but there are going to be times when all of a sudden you're going to be looking around and you need somebody to talk to.
Right.
You need somebody to hold on to. So if you got any rifts or tears in your relationships with your family,
Fix it.
fix it.
Amen. That was good, Mama. That was good. That was good. Give me some cheese. What you got, Mr. Benny?
Oh, yeah, you know, my thing is that, like I said, you got to take care of yourself. You know, you got to go to the doctor. Men especially got to go to the doctor, get their annuals. No matter how uncomfortable you may be with that, you need to go every year. You know, no matter what. And then, like, the family is important. Family, extended family is important to me, because you can't do nothing by yourself. You got to have God. You got to have some family. You know what I mean? And then Bruce was saying about going to the hospital doctor. Them bills gonna come. Them people gonna call you. They gonna keep calling you. I'll be glad they answer the phone. I still ain't got no money. but I'm still here. And I will get to you as soon as you in line with the rest of them. Don't worry about it.
Right behind us.
That's right.
Oh my God.
That's right. So you just hang in there. Just hang in there.
Now,
Come on.
for women and men who have breast cancer, the state does have a special Medicaid for breast and cervical cancer.
Wow.
And I usually tell people where to go look, how to get paid, you know, the paperwork, all of that. I don't have any problem researching stuff for people when they're talking about, you know, they got an issue. And
So
they don't.
inbox Rhonda Lee Cooper. She's willing to help.
I will.
She's
I'll
willing
help
to
you. I'll help you get what you need so you can get taken care of. I'll do that.
My advice to be for the person who is not dealing with breast cancer or who is not dealing with heart disease, because I don't have high blood pressure, I don't have any of those things, who is not dealing with cancer, but someone very close to you is, be patient. Be strong.
Yeah.
Cry in your own time. They're dealing with enough. So if you feel weak and you feel weary and you feel sad that they're going through that, go to the side. You know, you need to be a ray of hope for them. You need to be a ray of sunshine for them. They need to see love in you. They need to see strength in you. They need for you to encourage them. You're gonna have bad days. There were plenty of days where I left my house or left her house. I got in my car and I closed the door and I cried and prayed. And I prayed, Lord, let your will be done. Not my will, your will, because I never wanted my mom to be here suffering. So if it was going to be bad, because when my father had cancer, I knew it was the end. Because some people don't get healed on this side. Understand this. Let me be clear.
Yes.
But God heals on this side and the other side. But you have to be strong enough to say, okay, I love you enough to let you go. So once you let go, there's a peace that comes. But when you feel down, pull yourself to the side. Cry in your own time. Then go back and put your feet on her bed like I did. And when she was trying to get her chemotherapy, I would play with the remote control on the bed.
Stop eating my food.
And eat her food. I did anything to make my mom. But the other food downtown was good.
Be good, but sometimes.
I did anything to put a smile on my mom's face. And I also told my mother, I said, hey, if you get chemotherapy on Wednesday, you need to take Thursday off. I don't care if you feel good. because you're going to be wiped out on Friday if you do too much.
Right.
And so it happened, didn't it?
Oh, that was my first time. I learned after the first
Yes.
time.
So,
And you know, but you know, that's not everybody's story.
yeah.
That's
And the
true.
reason why I'm saying that, since I take dialysis 3 days a week, most folks say when you get off treatment, you're gonna be wiped out, sick, and can't function. But in my 12 years, I've never experienced it.
I'm telling you, come across her. Look at Bruce.
Yeah.
Watch Bruce.
I drive myself,
Yeah.
and even when I was sick, I had to go to the emergency room. I drive myself to the emergency room, then I called my sibling. Child, I'm in the ER.
I know.
They said, how did you get there? You know how I got there.
Yeah, we
But you know,
got
I don't
life
care about
driving
that.
ourselves to the
What
emergency
you want to say,
room.
Miss
Well, I
White?
wanted to also say to your viewers, Vincent is a Methodist patient and Bruce is a Methodist patient. And at Methodist, they tell you that you don't have to wait till the last minute. That long time ago, black men died in their 50s. Women were dying early. But that doesn't have to happen.
That don't have to
Just
be.
like what Miss Rhonda says. And they do preach this to you at Methodist. Take care of yourself. Go to the doctor. Do your checkups. Be proactive. You know, Vincent had heart surgery, but because he went and he took a checkup, they found out he was 95 and 85. And because he was proactive, they were able to fix that and give him the best of care. And so I just encourage your viewers, you know, we as African Americans, we wait till the last minute. And we don't have to do
We don't
that
have to.
because times have changed.
That's true.
You're looking at 4 great survivors. And
And
this
I'm-
ought to encourage you if nothing else.
I'm telling you,
You can beat
guys,
whatever you have.
Yep.
now that we are all here at the same time, you guys are my heroes. And people don't tell you all that enough because you could have gave up.
That's right.
And once you give up, once your will to live is gone, and you don't have to be that sick.
Yeah.
But when your will to live is gone, when you surrender,
Yeah.
you start seeing that white light.
You gonna get
Carolyn.
it.
That's true.
And
Because I'm here to tell you,
Yes.
when I had my first bout with cancer, I would go and sit in the waiting room with a lady who had the same diagnosis, who was getting the same treatment. And she was in a wheelchair, and her brother would sit beside her. And she would hold her head down like that. And he said to me, who you waiting on? I said,
waiting on me.
my daughter. Oh, she's going to have chemo. I said, no, I'm going to have chemo. I'm just waiting on her to get here. You know, and he said, so you must, I said, no. I said, we both got the same thing,
Yeah.
you know. And bless her heart, she didn't make it.
Yep.
And that's because, and I didn't know her that well. It's just from sitting there with her.
You meet a lot
But-
of people in MD Anderson.
We sure do.
You know, when you have any type of disease, I don't care whether it's cancer, heart disease, kidney disease, you know, you have to, first of all, stop listening to this rhetoric that people be trying to tell you, and they don't know. They don't know what
They
they're
don't
talking
know.
about. You know,
Yeah,
that's
it's
the
over
thing
for
that
you. Only
irritates.
God knows.
Oh yes, and doctors need to stop it too.
Yeah.
Because they'll walk up on you and say, oh, I'm sorry, you only got 6 months to live. Oh,
That's
where
what
did
you
you get
say.
that information?
But my God,
Witness.
I know that's right.
Yeah.
So, you know, we have to stop listening to that. And we have to stop listening to people trying to tell us how to fix ourselves.
Yeah.
Guess what? The MD right there, I'm going to listen to what he has to say, and sometimes I ain't going to listen to him.
Mm.
You know, it all depends on how I'm feeling that day.
That's Rhonda, y'all.
Yeah.
Hey,
I have a question.
There's a comment from Robin.
Uh-huh.
I have lupus, but lupus does not have me.
Amen.
Amen.
And I gotta
Hey,
do a
sis.
show with you because I really want people to see that,
yes.
you know, she's a mover and a shaker, baby. Look at her, Robin Shepherd on Facebook, baby. She's a mover and a shaker. But sometimes, and I've watched her, so, oh, that's another one. They done left their ailments that stopped them from going to Vegas, baby. She was in her room, can't I'm gonna close out with this. Time waits for no one.
Yes.
Not even time. We have just lost a second, and we'll never get that second back. So live your best life. Like the song says, I'm living my best life because tomorrow is not promised.
That's right.
That's true.
Thank y'all for tuning in. Just, oh my God, I love y'all. Thank y'all. Even though y'all was late, I know it was something going on the freeway. But next week, hashtag I'm just saying goes to St. Louis. I cannot wait. Oh my God. So I'm doing my show on location. I'm doing my show.
Call in. No.
Yeah,
And,
we will.
that is going to be so entertaining because it's going to be me and my cousins and one of my uncles, and we are going to clown.
See how she left y'all robbing?
She has something to do that day. That's why she's not in it.
Well, we're going to see about
Anywho.
that.
But I have a lot of great topics ready for y'all. Y'all know we got this hashtag I'm just saying Mimi goes on a blind date. Y'all pray for me. Because let me tell you something, I'm gonna close out. Miss Carla is just like my mama. My mama tried to auction me off for some furniture years ago, and Miss Carla tried to auction me off at the Papa Do's. Oh, you cute? She's single.
What kind of furniture was it, baby?
I don't know. This man, he owned his own furniture shop. He was like, well, you know, I got a single daughter. You know, you give me some of that
that's
furniture.
right.
That's right.
Anyway, so love you guys. Tune in next week. Remember to share this episode. Remember to laugh. Remember to love. Remember to be the light, and always bear good fruit. This is hashtag I'm just saying. God bless you guys. See you next week.
Right. I started that radiation.
This is the
and
after
Mario,
show. I should have been having y'all.
He would make me
Listen to
strip dip.
This girl over here just
I
said.
love that stuff.
See what I'm saying?
Okay.
I done heard
So
some war stories.
he-
Some stuff they should have been
He
saying
came
on
to me
camera.
one night.
They was trying to be
And I just
politically
said,
correct.
Oh, I feel hot.
She gonna
You know?
tell me.
Because
the people
when-
in the hospital
once you
told her,
start doing
you threw up
radiation
so
treatment,
pretty.
it-
Hell, throw up
It
pretty.
stays inside.
And I ain't
It
stopped
just
eating.
continues to get hotter and hotter.
They talking
and
about
hotter.
throw up and all
I'm eating
that.
that dip.
I'm hungry. They ain't
And
bothered me
then
not
all of a
one
sudden
bit.
I said, oh, something ain't right. Just so happened, my room was right by the bathroom. I jumped up and ran in there. All of that cream cheese started coming back up.
Ain't that nasty?
It was just curdled.
And
You be amazed.
these are the stories I've been listening to.
You be amazed.
They're cancer survivor stories.
Baby.
Thank y'all so much for tuning in. Hey, sissy.
It is like I felt like that was at the point where I felt like I couldn't do it anymore. And I was like, but I wish I had remembered his name. I remember his face. He was my radiology tech. He saw my face and he was like, "You can do it. You can do it. I'm finna go put on." Because I think I always ask for Brian
Courtney Wilson.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
He said, I'm finna go put your music on. I'm finna go put your music. You're gonna be okay. You're gonna make it. You can do all things through Christ Jesus.
That's-
And then I was like,
Let me tell you what I told her. She gonna tell me, I can't do this no more. Maybe I said, shit, if you can't, then you gonna do this. You gonna fight. We gonna do this together. You gonna get this done. I'm not letting you leave me.
See, this
Because
is
if you
stuff
leave, then that means I'm.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
This is
see
stuff that people don't know.
And see, that was
Because
my
let me tell you, the
question.
second time I had cancer, I had to buy diapers and pads.
Yeah.
Can I give you some diapers?
Every time. Yeah, I did.
I had those
I was over
faithfully.
there. I was over there at.
Wait a minute. I did not know they was wearing huggies and shit. Why ain't nobody tell me?
The
I had
medicine
to
do
wear
some
them.
stuff to you. Really. And I remember used to tell my mama, because my mama would be like, let me put you one on and put another one on you. It was to the point where I would be like, ooh, I had to stop walking. And I'd be like, mama.
I'm sorry, that ain't funny.
And she said,
I'm telling you, I couldn't even have a conversation because right in the middle of the conversation, if I just for some reason sneezed or you know took a deep breath or whatever, it was all over the place. And so we had to pad the bed down, and we had to put the diaper.
Was this when you was
on.
living at my house?
No, I was at Tina's house.
Oh, praise the Lord.
And
I mean,
I never forget it. I came in there.
be
Tina
like
came in and I was laying in bed crying.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
And she came and she crawled up in the bed with me and she said, "It's gonna be all right."
Mm-hmm.
I was telling you, child.
So you,
It was just getting to be, it's overwhelming.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
You start really thinking about it. You think about
So
it.
love
Yeah.
each
When
other.
we was at our choir retreat
Uh-huh.
and we sitting up, and I was sitting at the table, I looked out the window, and it brought me back to laying in that bed at MD Anderson.
Because of the area and all that.
Yes.
And the view.
And the view, and I remember going, man, I remember I was laying in that bed, and it was the 4th of July, and I was looking downtown and looking at the fireworks and thinking, I'm here in the hospital by myself. And I'm looking at the fireworks. It's like, wow. And I remember thinking, I spent 2 holidays. I spent Mother's Day and 4th of July in the hospital. Thinking,
That's the reason why I went to Vegas.
yes.
In that damn wheelchair.
Wait a minute, but this is the funny part. Okay, so
Here we go, y'all.
I'm in the airport and I'm sitting in the wheelchair. And Snooki is pushing me in the wheelchair. That girl's strong. She's
As hell.
pushing me in the wheelchair. She got the bags all over her shoulders and everything. She turned around and looked at me. She said, "Girl, you gotta lose some weight."
I had to move my part, y'all. I was looking kind of crazy.
And then she parked my ass over there by a slot machine.
And start gambling.
She left me sitting right there.
Nikki say, "Hey, mama."
Hey, baby. How you doing?
I said, you go through some stuff. I'm telling
Yeah, it's
you.
amazing.
It's some stories that you can tell people to be like, but you gotta laugh your way through.
Oh yes.
You gotta laugh your way through. I remember thinking to myself because you get to go home, and Mama was my nurse at home to hook me for the home infusions.
Yes, because I had to wear one of those home too.
I have little bombs, so Mama would do my infusions at the house. I remember on one of the infusions, the nurse came out. She was redoing my IV, and she was like, "What's wrong with your face?" And I remember going,
You could taste it.
I was like, I couldn't swallow.
Oh,
The
my.
medicine had started to give me a reaction,
Oh, shoot.
and I was like, my throat feel like it's sore.
Closing up.
And she was like, we gonna call the emergency room. She said, I need you to, what did they tell? I said, they told me if, you start feeling bad. And she took my temperature. She said, your temperature is rising. She said, we don't need to get you to so
Yeah.
got in the car, went to MD. I couldn't eat or drink for about 4 days. They were like, we can't figure this out. And I was like, I can't eat. And, then they give you this stuff that maybe it's sore. They would give me something to try to, I couldn't even get the medicine down to numb the throat to be able to eat some food. So I sat for like 3 to 4 days, like, I can't eat, I can't drink.
That's why you were so damn skinny.
I can't eat or drink.
Baby, when she was going through that treatment, she was skinny, and so was this one. The first time. Let me talk about that second time. We didn't even know. So I was like, Mama, you sure you got the cancer? Because you thicker than a sticker, baby. You ain't missing a meal.
But
What was the difference between the first time and the second time?
I picked up a virus the second time.
See, it's
And
like-
I had that virus for 3 months. And I kept trying to get medicine from the doctor to cure it.
yeah.
And then finally, I did another one of those drive-bys. I drove by the emergency room, parked my car deep,
Let me like.
called them. They was madder than hell because I had driven myself to the emergency room.
Absolutely.
But some fine country doctor came down there, young man, and said, well, what's going on? He said, let me do a lung scan. So he wanted to make sure that it wasn't any cancer in my lung. And once he did that, he said, let's try something. And he gave me some cough syrup that had an antihistamine in it.
And that worked.
What?
They had been giving me that hydrocodone crap.
Oh, yeah.
They was trying to get a high. See, that's the problem.
Trying to get you to
I don't need to be high. I need to be healed.
Right.
One more time.
I don't need to be high. I need to be healed.
Yep. I said, you go
I told Mama, let me tell y'all this story. I said, hey, if they give you medical marijuana, I'm going to start back smoking. because I want to partake with you.
Oh, she was always trying to get me to get stuff.
I was like, hey, if you feel the need, because I used to smoke. I was keep it real. But then I quit. But when she got sick, and she was like, they was offering it to her too. And I was like, if you need that miracle marijuana and you say, I just can't take it, maybe I need it. I'll be like, and I won't need it with you. I was going back. But praise God that she was strong and she didn't need it because I never did go back to it. But yeah.
Oh, she tried to get me to get a blonde.
And she had a prescription for a lace front, a quality one. And I was like, hey, lady, measure my head, and I'm going to order it in my size. And I wanted a platinum. I wanted a 27-613. That's what I wanted. Do you guys know what a 27-613 is? Wonderful. Wonderfully made in his image. And I'd have been clean, baby. Let me tell you, I'd have wore that wig to church and shouted and everything. I'd have wore that wig on dates. And it wouldn't have been one of, you remember when lace fronts first came out, y'all, and they looked like Chinese, they looked like karate flick movies, not these prescriptions that she had. This was a quality wig, and I was ready for it. And she'd rather walk around looking like Skee Ball Jenkins than order that wig. I wanted that wig. Let me tell you, okay, this is the after show, y'all. I love y'all.
I better after show myself to the house.
See, A. Robin say she know what 27-613 is, because that's what she rocks. That's right, baby. Y'all see my crochets? Let me tell y'all something. I'm going to get on off, too, because, we got to clean up this suite. It don't look like a salon anymore. But I love y'all. Thank you for tuning in. This was one of the best shows I ever had, I think. I'm so very proud of it. And take care of yourself. Health is wealth. And if you know somebody that needs to go to the doctor, encourage them to go. Call me. I need to go sometimes. And I just don't. But I'm gonna get better because y'all need me around. I can't do hashtag I'm not saying if I'm cremated. So, hey, Robin, I love you. I can't wait to see you next week.
And hers gonna be in the oven at the house.
Oh, let me tell you something. I'm gonna be player. Y'all just get up there and talk noise. I'm gonna have open bar. We ain't gonna have all that madness. We're gonna have a small memorial, and then everything else gonna be like a party because I party.
Don't try to do it.
And it's gonna be a signature drink. It's gonna call the MemeMichelle, and it's gonna be pink. And my obituary is gonna look like the Essence magazine cover. And it's just gonna have. And when I'm ready.
Just don't forget my Motown party. That's what
I'm not gonna forget it, Mama. Yeah, that's what she wants. Okay, I love you guys. We're gonna get out of here. Be blessed. Don't be stressed. And Robin, I'll see you next week. And I'll see everybody else at church tomorrow.
Come on, baby.